back over the top. What a set play from Sydney Olympic. They are running amok.
That's full time, and another big loss for the Sharks.
The results weren't going well and we were fighting relegation. There was a mood over the club of despondency, that things were slipping away.
Things were reaching a crisis point, and if we didn't get something done fairly quickly, we'd be playing in another division. Eventually, I think we'd be going amateur.
And if nothing had changed during that time, I have no idea what would have happened. Yeah, I don't think it would have ended too well. The past few years, it just wasn't that little bit of fight that the club has always been known for.
And finally, the whistle goes. A humiliating 5-0 defeat for Sutherland. The new GM, Trent McClenahan, has got a massive job ahead of him to get this club on track next season.
Arguably the best NPL facilities in Australia. But if the product on the pitch is not where it needs to be, we'll have the best infrastructure looking into empty stands.
My name's Paul Smith. I'm a former president and player and coach of the club. Been involved for about 64 years in different roles. People ask me what this club means to me. It's probably not just me, it's to the whole community, and it's just something that's iconic. Think of all the people that would have come through here and all the players that have been through here. I was just thinking of a few guys that passed on. Water, please.
Hi, my name is Andrew Smith and I'm the operations manager at the Sutherland Sharks Football Club. Been playing and in and around football since birth, I would say, because Dad was heavily involved. The game just naturally lures you in.
My name is Trent McClenahan and I'm the general manager here at the Sutherland Sharks Football Club. I've been in the game all my life, basically. Since I was about 4.5, I started playing. I've been lucky enough to be involved in the game all that time. Yeah, it's been a fantastic journey. I'm also based locally as well, so I'm based 10 minutes up the road. I've had the pleasure of driving past here many times. I've played here many times as well over a number of years. In terms of the Shire, it's a really sort of laid back and relaxed sort of area. One of the best sort of locations. We're 10-15 minutes from the beach. Not many people can say that, that's for sure. I've seen that translate into our matchday experience here as well. A lot of families orientated, young kids, young families getting involved in our club, and seeing them on matchday is something we want to build on, absolutely.
I've lived in the Shire for 69 years. The place is ideal for a youngster to grow up in.
Sutherland Shire, yeah, it's home to me and always has been. Travelled the world with football and you see things and you see places, and then you come home and you actually appreciate what we have more. Every kid, every adult still watches and plays sport, and I think that's a big one in this area.
Mate.
Welcome, mate.
Good, thanks, Simon.
Welcome to the
Good
Sharks.
Good to be here.
Great to have you.
What about these trophies, Greg? They look pretty good.
Yeah, plenty of dust on those, mate. Yeah, no, I got plenty of trophies. They had some really successful times, but we've been a bit lean of late. So anyway, we'll start the rebuild, see what we can do. See if we can maybe need a new trophy cabinet, much bigger. I'm Greg O'Rourke. My role at the club is the president, and I've been here since earlier this year in about April. My involvement in football goes right back to when I was a child, when my mum and dad signed me up to play at Heathcote Waratahs when I was 6 or 7 years old, which is before the 70s even kicked off, and I've been in football ever since. The history of the Sutherland Sharks FC is long. It's coming up to 100 years. And in that 100 years, like all football clubs, of all codes, of all businesses, there's been ebbs and there's been flows. There's been really high points and there's been points that have been really low.
So some of the high points that I've had at the Sharks, would definitely be the 2008-2009 seasons, where we won, I think, everything that you could win in those 2 years we won.
Previous to that, we hadn't been highly successful. So it was, very well received and celebrated.
It was down to the final match of the 2009 season, the grand final of the New South Wales Telechoice Championship Series between the Sutherland Sharks and Marconi Stallions. What a season it turned out to be for the Sutherland Sharks, grand final winners by 4 goals to 1, having earlier secured the Tiger Turf Cup.
My name's Adam Peacock. I'm in the media by trade, have been for a long time when I had a lot more hair and it wasn't as grey. Played under sixes football and been attached to the sport ever since. The NPL is the tier of football underneath the A-League but above grassroots. So it sits in the pyramid up near the top and it's played all around Australia. So NPL football, it's National Premier Leagues, that's the branding it's been given all around Australia, but it's played in every state. It's basically the top tier of football in a state-based competition. There's 3 divisions and you'd call it semi-professional football, with NPL 1, New South Wales being the top. NPL football is a high standard.
In some capacity, it could be almost being harder than being a professional, right? Because you've got to manage your day-to-day responsibilities or your job, and then look to come here 3 nights a week and obviously on a match as well and perform your best. I just think that you got to have a real passion for the game and a real drive to be successful.
I mean, we've got a beautiful facility, as you can see, right? Brand new pitch, brand new facility here with the gym, and it's really what's on the pitch is really important, because all that stuff, if you don't actually have the football, right? And that's where you come in, right?
Yeah, well, that's got to be the core, right? That's what we do here, and that's what we've got to focus on, in particular, turning that around, no doubt, right?
The challenges that I see that the club's had in its most recent past come with people really, and good people, just sort of exhausted, under-resourced, trying to do everything with a very small crew, with a, modest budget. And those two things together get to a point where when you run out of energy, that those things start to fray around the edges. All right, mate. Well, how was your first week?
Yeah, it was lots of fun, lots happening, that's for sure. But, the first question that comes to my mind is, what do we want to be? Where do you want to go?
Yeah.
Like, are we happy with being in the bottom 4 or 5 every year? Do we want to be mid-table? Do we want to win titles?
Yeah.
I really think that's the first discussion we should start upon.
Yeah.
Because I think if we can answer those questions, they should influence our decisions from there. Who's the coach? Who's the players? What does that look like?
I got lots of voices in my ears, about you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to move on the coach, you need to do all these things differently. But I don't think that's going to work for us. I mean, Steve's a really good guy. I want to respect that. I've always been a believer that you finish what you start. And we started with him as the coach, and I think we should finish with him as the coach.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to focus on getting around the coaches and the players, supporting them.
I feel like we've got to give him every bit of support, and his coaching staff and the players, right? And then if we stay up, it's going to be a tougher conversation. Respectfully to the coach that was here for 2025, we made a decision to move on and to find a new coach. When I spoke to the rest of the committee, we were saying, well, we should go for the very best. So we set our targets by saying, well, who do we think is going to win the competition in 2025? And there was a couple of teams that were hovering around the top of the ladder, and one of them was Spirit, and their current coach was Dave Perkovich, and there was a lot of good vibe around the guy about how good he was and how he, liked working on projects, and how he bought a club, from, in his case, bought it from the second division into first division, and, looks like he's going to win the league. So we were like, why don't we go after him? And then, just out of the blue, like it was meant to be, I received a text message, indirectly, not from him, but from somebody saying, if you want, I could set up a coffee with Perko. We said we'd go for the very best, so we'll start with the very best and see where we end up.
I'm actually surprised that we've got this discussion happening, given his record and what he's done, that's for sure. I think it'll be a massive stake.
He's so secure in his existing club. I mean, I don't know too much about, where his head is. We'll find out a bit more today, but he might today say nothing more than thanks for the toasted sandwich and the coffee. Some people just like to have a conversation just to see what the market's like, but
yeah,
it would be an absolute statement. As long as we sell our project in the way we believe in it, who knows? Maybe that's what he's looking for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? It's going to be interesting because I'm sure he's such a pro. He'll be dancing for the whole time we're with him, right? Sure. This is step one, right? Let's not try and close the deal today, right?
Yeah, agree.
Alrighty. I'll just park up here.
We begin with breaking news out of the NPL. After leading NWS Spirit to an historic title, head coach David Perkovic has stunned the competition by announcing he's leaving the club. Perkovic, who guided Spirit from the second division all the way to their maiden title, is stepping away just days after lifting the trophy, closing the book on one of Australian football's modern success stories. The big question now, where is David Perkovic going next?
Hi, my name is David Perkovic. I'm the coach of Sutherland Sharks for 2026. How honest do you want me to be?